state of Missouri, and I'm on my way out to check on a wastewater treatment plant, a 2.5 million gallon a day oxidation ditch. Normal flows are about 1 million gallons a day, and looks like they might be doing some restructuring, so I'm going out there to assess their wastewater treatment plant and see how they do things out there, and maybe I can help them with their process. Just interested to see how wastewater treatment is operated out in Missouri. It's Oxidation Ditch. I pulled their permit last night. They're 4560 CBOD TSS. 20, it's basically a 2020 plant according to Florida standards. But they do have a TN as ammonia of 3.7 and then 8.1 certain times of the year. So I guess that would be winter time, it's 8.1, and then summertime, or the rest of the year, I guess, is 3.7. Because we all know that bugs work the least in cold weather. So I think that's why the Department of Natural Resources that regulates, they do have EDMR, which I was surprised to see. I hope it works better than the FDEP ZDMR that you still have to scan your Part P in anyway, which makes absolutely no sense to me. What's up, operators? So a little bit different vlog today. You saw what the plant looked like out there. Right now we're going to do a little epilogue. I wanted to be respectful and not film if it wasn't appropriate. I met the two operators there. Great plant out there, great operators out there. They know their stuff. And so what I just wanted to do is give you a little recap and kind of try to redraw some things that I talked to them about there because I didn't have my camera. So I'm doing this from the comfort of my home. So let's get right to it. Out there they have a 2.5 million gallon a day oxidation ditch. And an oxidation ditch that they have out there has rotors or brush aerators. One there, and there's one right about here. So excuse my artwork, I'm not an artist, I'm an operator. And what they also have is the influent pipe coming in here, mixing with the return coming in from the clarifiers. And a fall off here is where the water goes out. So when I began talking to the operators out there, they're pushing 800,000 to 1.4 million gallons a day right now. standards that they have to abide by, the regulators, which is the DNR, the Department of Natural Resources, has them at a TN as ammonia 3.7 and 8.1. So from April to September, they have 3.7. And from October to March, they have an 8.1. So that kind of lines up with what I was talking about before, saying that in the summer months, when bug activity is good, bugs want to work, they're going to give them the TN as ammonia only at 3.7, and in the winter months, October to March, they're going to let them slide a little bit more and give them the 8.1. So right now they don't do any biological nutrient removal according to my standards, which would be total N, phosphorus, full CBOD, and a TSS. When I was talking to the operators out there, the EPA is crunching down on the entire country to raise their standards. I don't want to say to Florida standards, but higher standards than they have been operating all this time. So in order to reach higher standards, usually it costs more money. And in the wastewater industry, as all of you know, money is hard to come by. It is scarce. Begging for money for pipes in the ground, pumps going out, rotary brushes going out. These rotary brushes are so old they had to be custom fabricated because they don't even make these brushes anymore in order to replace them. So with all that being said, I figured, you know what, I'm going to give them a little insight into how I do biological nutrient removal, and maybe I can help them understand that they have all the tools they need right now, and all we have to do is change a couple things. So as the influent and the return come in, and it goes in here, it hits this first aerator, and I asked Joe, I said, well, how much is your DO? And he said it's about a 1.0. Okay, now to me, a 1.0 is bare minimum giving the bugs enough air. Sure, it'll treat the water, but not to the standard that we really want to increase our standards and make good water, removing the nutrients out of the water. Comes here, 1, comes over here, 1. Goes in here, what do you get? Everybody knows, you get pop-ups because the bugs are denitrifying inside the clarifier, and that's why you're getting the pop-ups. Now the cetylometer looked great. Cetylometer was about 400 in 30 minutes, 1 hour, and they had really good sludge. Nothing was up on the sides, which we know that's an indication of filaments. It actually looked really good, but they're still having the pop-ups in there. So what I did was I said, okay, so I introduced the ORP, which they don't use right now. I have done heavy, extensive study into ORP, and I've pretty much got it down to a science where I want it. And I saw ORP and what it does, and the fact that we can use a positive and a negative number, unlike the DO, which all we can use is the positive number, or there's no DO. So you don't know what happens after that. So in the ORP, what we want to do is we want to get this ORP up into the positive 100s and the positive 125. Inside that range, we want to get it. So I know I'm converting all the CBOD. I know I'm converting all the ammonia, and I'm in good shape. That puts this about a 3.0. Now, I was always taught that we want to do all our work up front, meaning we want to get all the air and we want to consume all the CBOD and the ammonia, and we don't want to leave that to chance down here at the end, because it's way harder at the end because you have less time. So if we do most of it over here, and if it was me, I'd be running process control tests here, 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 all the way through to see how my process was working with this system. So we want to crank it up. Now, he said that these rotors are older, so they're not going to give you that much. If he turns on the second rotor, he said you might get to 4.0, maybe 5. Okay? Well, that's great, but that's a little too late. As we come around here, and this one maybe is a 3 or something like that, if you have them all on at the same time, which they do not currently, this one's off right here, and it's coming around, and so it's still really low, and the 1.0 DO going through there. Well, that's just not enough to get the job done. So what I suggested is we crank up this crank up this rotor, go ahead and crank up this rotor as well, and then also he has these 3 little surface aerators. Let's bring one of these surface aerators over here, and let's crank up and let's get that thing going here. And this will be almost like our first batch, you know. We're bringing it through here, we're bringing it through here. We're still high in DO here. We'll be at 100 plus in the ORP range here. And as we start bringing it through here, this could be a slight roll here, you know. And this is where you want your 1 DO to be, okay. And then as you drop down here, this is where you're going to inject your alum for phosphorus removal, and you can even actually bring one of these aerators because you want to keep it right about there. Aerate, 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 boom, start bringing it down. Now what we're going to do is we're putting the bugs in a stressed environment where now we're going to take away the oxygen from them all the way into the clarifier, because we want them to eat the N to get to the O. We want them to denitrify in here. The ORP has to come down significantly. And in my experience, I've seen that a negative 40 to a negative 80 or lower, negative 100, almost guarantees denitrification. So when I'm taking my process control, I'm going to step it and watch here, and watch here as it goes down. So if we're coming 3DO, 100, 25 plus, 100, and then now we're coming down, and then we have a slight roll here, this should start dropping off, and all these, the negative 40 to negative 80. That almost guarantees denitrification if you've done. And if you do your process control, you'll know, okay, I got all my ammonia, all my NH3 is gone here, and then now I'm going to take care of NO3 over here. But what I was trying to show them is that there's ways to create an environment for bugs to get biological nutrient removal, or more biological nutrient removal than they're getting right now, just by shifting a few things around. So that's all for this vlog session. Hope you guys enjoyed. Please like and subscribe, and I'll catch you later.